You know when you meet somebody and you just click and you feel like you could have coffee with them for 8 hours and you leave that coffee and you're like, that was an awesome human being. I loved spending time with that person. In my life, I have found that it's almost a guarantee that if somebody is in the role of professional facilitator, corporate trainer, experiential educator, some role that I put under the category of connector. They are a professional connector. They're responsible for gathering groups of people and leading them. If you tell me that's your job, I can predict with like decent accuracy that I will love hanging out with you, and we'll both leave feeling like our cups have gotten filled up. This is reason number one why I created the Connector Summit. I wanted to create a sanctuary for those people who are oftentimes working in isolation or solo. Maybe you're a solopreneur, speaker, author, facilitator person. Maybe you're in the little learning and development group in your big organization. Maybe you're the school leader who's really driving culture and wanting to create and make change where you're at. If you identify or relate to the role of professional connector, there's not really a space for us. There are some lovely organizations like the International Association of Facilitators and the Association of Experiential Education, but there's not like this umbrella for connectors, right? Folks that are less concerned about the specific methodology and more interested in the realness and the meaningfulness and the depth of connection. And if this isn't clear, this is an invitation to come to the Connector Summit, or at least consider or register your interests in coming to the Connector Summit. Reason number two is I wanted to create a skills lab. Over and over again, I find myself wanting to sharpen my own saw. And so, especially as someone who is leading things usually, or creating the professional development for others, sometimes the cobbler's kids go without shoes. Is that the phrase? I'm asking Steven. I think that's the phrase, the cobbler's kids go without shoes. This feels like an old metaphor. The idea being people in learning and development oftentimes don't create enough space for their own learning and development. And so I wanted to create a skills lab for people to come really sharpen their saw and get some of the most impactful tools and be able to apply them. And so if you've used any of the tools that I've created, watched the videos, used the strategies, the Connector Summit is a place to come and really get deep with those and apply them rather than just watch an 8-minute video hoping that an idea sticks. And reason number three is I wanted to create a sandbox. I know that I learned through experience. The first group that I ever facilitated on my own was this. It was like a team building session outdoor for this staff group at a university. And my mentor, Rod Lee, we were gonna co-facilitate it. And so I was feeling awfully safe because I had this very experienced facilitator next to me. And right before the event, he said, "Oh, I actually can't be here. I have to go here." And he metaphorically threw me the keys and said, "Your group, you good? Good?" And before I could even hold up a thumbs down, he left. I learned so much in that group because I was left to figure it out. And so being able to experience some of these ideas, it's one thing to hear about an activity or a group exercise, it's another thing to be a part of it and feel the depth of connection and the impact of that exercise. Because you're then able to say, "Ooh, I loved this, but I want to tweak this, and here's how I'd adapt it for my group." And so if having a sanctuary of awesome people and a skills lab to sharpen your saw and invest in prioritize yourself and your own learning, and having a sandbox to meet and network and connect with others and learn from other people's expertise and try out and test on new ideas, you'll be obsessed with the Connector Summit. You've got to consider your availability and your openness to invest in yourself to come to the summit, and only you can make that decision. I will throw out one other piece of data for those that are data oriented. The last summit we hosted, I surveyed everybody in the closing exercise. We did this very cool, we closed with this collaborative book writing process, and I spent the night co-authoring Connector's Blueprint co-written book to then hand back to the group the following day. So you can see the Connector Summit is quite engaging, quite cool, quite cutting edge, if you will. But in that experience, I asked people, how many of you would come back to the Connector Summit? And 98% of the group immediately said, "Yes, I am coming back next year." And so for me, I can say whatever about my intent of creating the summit, but I think it's more meaningful when 500 people say, That was mind-blowingly awesome. I can't believe all that happened in a virtual event without me getting on a plane. Heck yes, I'm gonna be back next year. These are my peeps. If you've made it to this point in the video, the Connector Summit will blow your mind. If this video held your attention to this point, the Connector Summit will blow your mind. I can't wait to see you there.